Good day everyone, I hope you're all doing well. Today, we'll dive into Chapter 12, Laws Related to Tourism Investment and Finance. This chapter focuses on the essential legal frameworks and financial principles that shape and safeguard tourism-related businesses. Whether you're planning to work in tourism or manage your own venture someday, understanding this concept is crucial not just for compliance but for long-term sustainability and success in the industry. Outline. Here's an overview of what we'll cover in today's session. We'll start with a brief introduction to the topic, followed by a case study to anchor our discussion in a real world context. Then we'll explore legal issues and liabilities, specific investment laws in tourism, and the financial side of tourism development. We'll also talk about best practices for investors, examine the role of government regulations, and identify some common risks in the industry. Learning objectives. By the end of this topic, you should be able to understand the legal consideration involved in tourism investment, recognize common legal violation and how to avoid them, learn the basics of financial management in tourism projects, identify best practices that responsible and successful investors follow, understand how government regulations affect tourism investment projects, evaluate the risk, and develop strategies to mitigate them. Here's a quote. Let's begin with a bit of inspiration. Teach man how to start a business and you feed him many lifetimes. This quote by Jose Maria Concepcion III highlights the power of entrepreneurship. It's not just about making a profit, it's about creating value that lasts. In tourism, responsible and well-informed investments can uplift communities, preserve culture, and promote sustainability for generations. Introduction. Tourism is a dynamic and fast-growing industry. With the right planning and capital, it offers excellent investment opportunities. But with these opportunities come responsibilities. Investors and developers must follow specific legal and financial rules. These aren't just bureaucratic hurdles, they're safeguards that protect consumers, the environment, and the investors themselves. In today's session, we'll unpack these responsibilities and understand how they shape the tourism landscape. Case study: the delayed retirement village. Let's take a look at a real-life scenario to better understand the consequences of ignoring legal and financial duties. Rafael Valdez, a successful restaurateur, decided to develop a luxury retirement village. The idea was solid and he secured both investors and bank loans. However, he started pre-selling units without obtaining the necessary permits from HLURB. To make matters worse, he redirected some of the funds to support his other businesses. A year passed with no progress on construction. This caused legal disputes, complaints from investors, and eventually intervention from the regulatory bodies. This case shows how important it is to respect legal protocols even when you have the money and the vision. Legal issues and liabilities. This example highlights several legal issues common in tourism investments. Pre-selling without permits, which violates housing and real estate laws. Non-compliance with HLURB regulations, which can result in project suspension or cancellation. Misuse of investors' fund, which is considered fraud and can lead to criminal charges. It is essential for tourism developers to understand that legal liabilities don't just slow projects, they can completely derail them. Investment laws in tourism. Tourism investment in the Philippines are governed by a mix of general and sector-specific laws. The key considerations include foreign investment restrictions, especially in land ownership and certain protected areas, permit and licensing requirements from both national and local agencies, consumer protection laws which safeguard the rights of buyers and investors. Non-compliance doesn't just result in fines, it can damage your brand, alienate stakeholders, and lead to lengthy legal battles. Financial aspects of tourism. Financial management is just as critical as legal compliance. Tourism projects often require significant capital, and how that capital is managed determine the project's success or failure. Essential financial practices include creating a realistic budget based on research and feasibility studies, allocating funds properly to ensure that each phase of development is covered, maintaining transparency with stakeholders and partners. Funding can come from various sources: bank, loans, government support programs, and private investors. The key is to plan wisely and manage responsibly. Best practices for investors. To succeed in tourism investments, here are some best practices. Conduct thorough market research to ensure demand and viability. Secure all necessary legal documents and permits before launching. Engage professionals such as legal consultants, accountants, and urban planners. Maintain transparency with your investors and partners. This builds trust and long-term relationship. Reinvest in the project to ensure continuous improvement and sustainability. These steps might take time and resources upfront, but they prevent much bigger problems down the line. Government regulations. Tourism investment must comply with multiple government agencies. Some of the key players include the HLURB, which regulates housing and land use projects, the Department of Tourism, which accredits tourism-related establishment, local government units, which issues business permits, zoning clearance, and monitor compliance. Collaboration with these agencies ensure that your project is legally sound and socially responsible. It also builds credibility with the investors and clients. Risk in tourism investments. No investment is without risk, and tourism is no exception. Common risks include regulatory risks, sudden changes in laws or permit requirements, market risks, changes in travel trends, economic downturns, or natural disasters, operational risks, poor management or delays in construction, financial mismanagement, misuse or misallocation of funds. Investors must identify potential risks early on, develop contingency plans, and monitor progress regularly to stay on track. Conclusion. In conclusion, tourism investment offers exciting opportunities, but only for those who are willing to do it right. Success in this field requires more than just capital. It demands legal awareness, financial discipline, strategic planning, and ethical responsibility. By following the law, managing your finances carefully, and working closely with government regulators, you're not just building a business, you're contributing to a thriving, sustainable tourism industry.